Hello on a Sunday afternoon. I'm Deanne Battle. This is the Composite. We're at season 3, episode 16, I believe. How's it going? Haven't done a Sunday broadcast in a long time, so welcome to the day the Lord has made. I hope everybody's doing well. So, I wanted to come outside, right? So I got my little supplies here and everything. But there are these like little red mites here. So, I mean, it's like my iPad and some tarot cards. But yeah, I'm a little concerned. I don't want to bring these little buggers into the house. I've got to get some raid or something. But all of that being said, I guess the insects are showing me how close we are to summertime, which I'll be talking about in a sec. All right, so I got the hat on. We are wild and woolly under here. Oh my gosh. So anyone interested in black hair, listen. So I've got micro locks. I got them started December of 22. And, I had the color put in beforehand. She did an excellent job. Started with mini twists. And so it's formed. And it's coming along nicely, I have to say. This is my second favorite pair of dreadlocks. My fourth pair of dreadlocks, but this is my second favorite set. But here's the thing, like, when you have them, like, retighten them, so basically you thread it through on itself, yeah, it's not in the budget right now. And so I know how I am. So I bought this little tool, like literally the 2 weeks, I think, or something, or maybe a month or so after I started them. I was like, okay, because usually what I do with locks is, I just want somebody to work with them to get them set, and then like I maintain them myself. But in the past, I was just like twisting them, like palm rolling them, so that wasn't, a big deal to me. But listen, so it's clean hair, but there is a 4-month afro under here. So this John, shout out to Philly, this John is going to take me a long time. So thoughts and prayers for that. But yeah, a lot of stuff is going to be DIY. I mean, I was talking to folks at work. Things are very, very lean, which I've spoken about before, but I don't really think people are addressing it as much as they should. All we get is, the economy is doing so well. For whom? But, I strategize and I regroup. So part of the strategy is going back to managing my own hair situation. Now, it's been 4 months. So I'm not confident in terms of how much I'll be able to get through today. But when it's presentable at some point to my liking, I'll show you what it looks like. I don't really do hair videos. I feel like there are enough people in that space, and all I do is do what they do, so it's pretty derivative. But nevertheless, sometimes it's helpful to see someone else's process. So yeah, all of that being said, I did want to talk about this summer. As I mentioned, I think it's going to be a little bananas. Usually in the fall is when we get slightly more honest information about the economy, and then also we'll be going into election season. So I think this is going to be a last hurrah in a lot of ways, for a lot of issues. So all of that being said, I want to get ready, get my hair together, get my health together, mind together, body, so on and so forth. So that's the plan. And then it officially starts on June 21st, and today is the 19th. I have a month. We'll see how much can happen. But yeah, what did I want to talk about? Diddy, unfortunately. There was a video that was released Friday morning, which to me is crazy because I was talking to my best friend Thursday night, and she said, do you notice that everybody's gone quiet on this Diddy thing? And I said, yeah, it's really weird. It's just kind of like, it just pops up conveniently. Excuse me. Oh, my nose is itching here. it's been popping up conveniently as an issue as needed, and I guess it's an issue as needed again because it popped up again Friday morning. So if you're not aware, there was security camera footage of Sean Diddy Combs beating the dog shit out of Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway. I mean, I don't know any other polite way to phrase it. It was brutal. It was vicious. You know, he's kicking at her, like, it seems in her stomach, possibly in her womb. Like, it just very violent. And so, you know, people were sharing it on social media. So it's like, okay, if I had have not been logged into any accounts, yes, I would not have encountered the video, but I did log in. I saw it. I don't know what you really say to that, right? The video is from 2016. And if I haven't said it already, it's the thing that is the most disheartening about the whole situation to me is the infrastructure created around him. Sorry, somebody's driving by. The infrastructure created around him to make this shit okay. Yes, someone released the footage, but it's from 2016. I don't know Cassie, but I have a feeling it could have improved her quality of life if that had have come out way earlier. You know, it's just, he should be the fall guy for everything he's done, but more people need to be going down with him. I'm looking at that whole, again, the whole infrastructure around him so crazily. Now, there's one caveat there because, right, we know that there are allegations, or I don't know if it's been proven, that he had NYPD in his pocket, right, as it relates to burning J. Cole's car and just, you know, there wasn't really an investigation into that. So there's that. We've got old allegations, right, from Kanye about him being a Fed. So I'm not going to go any further with that. Do with that what you will. So I'm saying that because, okay, so, you know, ignorant me, there are probably other details that I'm missing. But on the face of it, it just looks like everybody is about the money and the fame and the power, and are looking or turning a blind eye to this woman being just savagely attacked, seemingly on a regular basis. And I don't know what conversations that we have around that. And so one thing I'm wondering as a woman is, like, are there different conversations we need to be having, right? Because it makes me wonder about agency, right? Like, so I believe the relationship between Cassie and Diddy was 11 years. So some people might say, okay, well, if it was that bad, she should have left. But seeing all of this, it's like, well, could she have left? And if the answer is no, what does that really mean in the United States of America, allegedly the freest country on the planet for women? What does that really mean for agency? Because that's sounding to me like, as women, you know, female identifying people, like, what does that mean, right? Like, if I don't even have the agency to say, I'm in a horrible relationship, I need to go. It's 2024. I can't just go because either A, he's going to have somebody come after me, or, you know, and B, like, there's no one to protect me. And it's just that, oops, sorry. Okay, here we go. It was a notification, sorry. So it's just like, and I'm not even being articulate about this, I apologize, but it just makes me feel like, well, like, what the hell do you do? What do you actually do to protect yourself and, you know, be able to make a different decision? Because it seems like, you know, based on this, right, if you're with someone who's too powerful, like you're shit out of luck. I mean, it's a very it's a conundrum, because for me, if we're saying in 2024 that women don't have the agency to leave a relationship like that because of, oh, you know, society will protect this man in this X, Y, and Z way, then I mean, then the conversation should move toward revolt. Just right, like I'm not getting up and going to work every day and paying taxes and voting and trying to be a civically engaged person, trying to care for family and friends and be civil, only for society to then tell me I have to put up with that shit, because I'm not going to. So I mean, and I don't presume to say that the conversation is not happening, but a lot of what I'm seeing online is, oh, like, why did you all need the video to believe her? Which is a valid point. Or, oh, all of you people who were defending Diddy and da-da-da-da-da. I mean, those are good points, but I'm way beyond that. I'm looking at it as a cautionary tale in terms of actual agency to say, oh, I don't want to deal with this. I want to leave. What are my options? You know, I mean, it should never have happened, but it's in 2024, right? Like, this video is from 2016. So that's 8 years that people knew about this and sat on it like it was okay. It's disgusting. And then it looks like Diddy has posted an apology. I'll probably see it eventually, but I'm not going to watch it, because what do you say to that, right? Because when the charges dropped, you said you didn't do any of this stuff. You said you were not guilty of any of this and that you were looking to exonerate yourself and clear your name. So you're already ass out, in my opinion, because like nothing you say after that video is credible. I mean, depending on who you are, nothing he said before was credible, but he deserved his day in court, okay? So you don't say, oh, someone's like 100% guilty without going through due process. I do believe in due process. But an apology video because you got caught out there versus having the wherewithal. You have a legal team, you have a PR team. I'm sure that there is a way for you to apologize in the correct way that, from his standpoint as a defendant, doesn't concede as much, if that makes sense. So that could have been done already, right? It's a mess of a situation, and it's Cat Williams was not playing. Stuff is being cleared all the way out. And then, like, a lot of stuff is linking back to Kim Porter in terms of things that she allegedly had to deal with. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's what happened to him throughout his life that put him in a headspace to treat people like that? It's dirty. It's just dirty. I don't know what this means. I don't know what's going to happen. And it makes me look at my industry like, excuse me, really crazily as well, because that's another thing. People are like, oh, okay, well, yes, the light is being shed on, you know, music and entertainment just generally for this barbaric behavior, but oh, it happens in all industries. I think I might have talked about this before. It's just like, are there private school teachers? Are there community college teachers going to white fingernail parties? I don't know what is happening in terms of like my industry other than struggle and strife, because teachers are not paid well. but I don't want to be a hypocrite. So I'm sure at some level there is, you know, from an employment standpoint, sexual exploitation. Unfortunately, being a boarding school kid / private school kid, like, there is, you know, teacher student stuff, unfortunately, that happens. But so I just wanted to put that out there, like, just to not be hypocritical. But I'm talking about, like, a, you know, administrative teacher versus teacher stuff. I mean, I haven't heard of people trading sexual favors in the education field, but again, I'm sure it happens. It's just, we don't have a healthy relationship to sexual energy at all. It's either to control or dominate, or it's transactional, or or it's violent, or it's always weaponized, it feels. And when I say it's always weaponized, I'm thinking about ways in which it's depicted to us visually, but also in terms of how we talk about it. I don't think I really hear as many people, or at least as many people that I know, really talk about sex and sexual energy as an exchange, emotionally, spiritually, so on and so forth. It's very graphic and base, you know, limited to inputs and outputs. And I don't know how you get beyond that. Does it involve getting rid of capitalism? Most likely. That's beyond my pay grade. But anything in addition to that, I think, let me rephrase. I think part of this toxicity in this intimate partner violence is this lack of understanding of what the intimate relationship is like, even for what is the purpose of it, what is each partner supposed to get out of it. And then that confusion and that misunderstanding cascades into other things. So whether it's, I don't know if Puff experienced some trauma when he was younger and that makes him act like this, I have no idea. But, you know, if it did, then I imagine, then yeah, right, these women are objects to me and they're furthering my ends. And the only way to get beyond that is as a collective having a different understanding of what it means to be an intimate partner to someone, sexually, romantically, emotionally, spiritually, physically, etc., etc. That's a big ask. But at a base fundamental level, we can at least stop protecting people who do this shit. I couldn't even, like, if I saw something like that, or if I heard something like that, I couldn't even look at that person anymore who did it. It would physically make me ill to see that. But yet people were working for him. People were friends with him. People brought their children around him. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I'm just a fool for trying to apply any type of ethical anything to the society we live in right now. Or, so that's on one side, or is this actually a disintegration of values? I'm not implying it started with him. Not at all. But a disintegration of values to the point that like the bare bones of society, we're not going to be able to hold this together anymore. So on one side, like, oh, are you just like a naive idiot wanting people to do good things, or is this really getting worse? I really don't know. I don't know. So that's that. But I did want to address that video because it's just so sad. It really is. I don't know. Okay. So, I have, Zena's here. Hey, buddy. Okay. Yes, she saw me getting sad. Hold on a sec. Let me turn the camera around. Hey, Z. Hey, Zena. Hey, Stinky. Yeah, she's a good girl. We're gonna go for a walk after this. So I did want to pull cards because I've been doing that. No one's complained yet. Well, no one said much of anything yet, but we're working on it. But so no one's complained about me pulling my little cards here, so I think I'm going to do that. Based on what I was just talking about, I think that I'm going to ask, like, what's one thing we need to know in order to have healthy romantic relationships, right? Because I wish that for people. I wish for, like, if you want to be in a relationship, I really wish that you're able to find, like, a healthy, supportive one. Those are the only types to have. Anything else, run away. Far and fast. All right. So now, this is going to be interesting because I got the cards in one hand and the phone in the other. So I'm going to put the phone stand up, and it's going to be janky for a little while. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Okay. All right, you can see me enough there. I'm going to shuffle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. I'm gonna cut the cards as I squash the red mites. Yes, red mites. Okay. All right. So again, what I'm asking is, for the collective, anyone who might check this out, what's one thing that Source Spirit wants us to know about having a healthy romantic relationship? What's one thing we should know about having a relationship? Thank you. They're probably all going to fall on the floor. Let me pick up the one that just dropped. Okay. Ugh. Very inelegant. We work with what we have. Okay. So it gave me 2 at once. So what are we looking at? We are looking at the Death reversed. So that was the first card. And then we've got, this is a little tricky. We've got the Sun and the 3 of Cups. So I forgot which one came out first. I think it was like this, right? So the Sun and the 3 of Cups. All right. So let's walk through this. So now, when it's upright, the Death card represents, death, meaning like clearing out, the death of something, right? Ego death, which something that I've been talking about quite a bit lately. But the death of something and a transformation, right? it was reversed. So reversed, is it like, I think it's like, right, the lack of transformation, being stuck in something, or I'll look that up too, just to double check and make sure I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like, not like, some people get freaked out when they see the death card because, yeah, it's, kind of like the crypt keeper writing on it, but it's good, right? Like, there are certain things that need to die, like misogyny needs to die, domestic violence needs to die, right? Intimate partner violence needs to die, right? Silence around this when someone's perpetrating these crimes, that needs to die, right? That's what we want, death there. But it's reversed. So again, so it means like either resistance or a lack of transformation. All right, so then the next card here, right, we have the sun. So sun is success, ultimate happiness, right? And then we have the Three of Cups, which is kind of celebration, but celebration in concert with people. So celebrating in group, being a part of a collective, so to speak, and celebrating. All right, so let's do a number check here. So we've got 13 plus 19 plus 3. So 16, 26, 4, 35. 35 reduces down to 7. From a numerology standpoint, 7 is, I want to say 7 is change, but I mean, I think that's you could say that about anything. Let me look this up. I'm going to look up a couple of things and then get the quote-unquote story around it, right? Because that's where any type of wisdom, if you believe that there's wisdom coming from it, which I do, any type of wisdom that comes from it, it comes from how you put the story together. And I am a story carpenter, so you see why I have an interest in this. All right. So 7 in numerology. Okay, it's associated with creativity and intuition, and it's a symbol of mystery, knowledge, and mystery and knowledge. Oh, that seems different than what I've seen, but like, I'm still a baby at this, and I'm learning slowly as I go. I used to have this like 6-month rule, whether it was a language or like yoga or something, like a new skill. I just go hard as hell for 6 months and try to learn everything that I, want to know about it. But then see, the problem with that is that I'm burned out after 6 months. It's like, oh, I did this thing for 6 months. Like when I was learning how to play the guitar, I was like halfway decent, and I was going ham for 6 months. And then I had borrowed my sister's guitar, and she needed it back. And then I just like fell off. And I really am kicking myself for that because, I would basically, so I'm seeing the mites, and the mites are making me itch, and my allergies are going. Apologies. This is not a snot and boogers thing. Just clarification. So she took her guitar back because she needed it back, and then I couldn't bother to go and get one of my own, and I just let it fall off. And I'm just like, I have to stop acquiring these skills and then just letting them fall to the wayside. So that's why, like, when it comes to the tarot and like the more esoteric pursuits that I have lately, I'm just doing a little bit at a time, so I don't just like let it slip through my fingers like other stuff. Okay, so yeah, it seems like 7 is like an intuition, a higher wisdom or knowledge. That's what it seems like. All right, now let's look at the death card reversed. It's a little slow loading. Because, right, having the Sun and the Three of Cups together seems pretty straightforward to me, right? The idea of like happiness and success coming from this collaboration or celebration, but I'm not sure how the death reverse ties in, and I think I'm going to get a clarifier to help me put the story together. And if you've never seen my show before, essentially, right, like if you're pulling tarot cards, if you're trying to like quote unquote clarify the meaning, it's just like the different combinations mean different things. So then you can just, pull another card to just say, oh, okay, like let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit more. Like, what does that mean? This is so slow. This thing, speaking of 2016, that's when I got this iPad mini. This thing, they don't service this thing anymore. They won't take it back. It's just a hunk of metal. It's an environmental nightmare that I willingly contribute to, because there's nothing to be done with this. Other than, like I said, the Safari still works, so that's why I have it. And my computer is also dead, because I got that in 2016 as well. All my tech is a wrap. My TV, it's like I've got a flat screen. It's a 50-inch, 55-inch flat screen. I bought it from Walmart in 2017. And now it's like I've got a view box that big because the lights around the periphery are dying. So I was like, well, one does not have money for a brand new television. How does one get a Vizio fixed? And apparently you don't, because that joint is expensive. So, but all first world problems. I'll get around to it eventually. And with that being said, oh, you're just not cooperating. Isn't this lovely? Yes. Okay. So yeah, I was right. You're resisting transformation. All right. So the story that's kind of emerging now is that there's something around, like in terms of healthy relationships, like it seems like the reason that we're not getting to success here is because we don't want to change to be a part of the union. So I guess people are being hard-headed, which is not a surprise. But let me clarify the death card reversed. All right, can you please clarify the death reversed for me? Please clarify the death reversed. Okay, oops. All right, we had some cards flip over, but I'm not going to take those. I'm going to take the ones that jump out. Ooh, okay. Okay. So today's message is pretty easy and straightforward. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, ancestors. Ow. And Orisha. Thanks, everybody, for helping me be a little articulate here. All right. So, okay, but that adds 1, right? So we went from 35, which breaks down to 7. Now we're at 8 because we've got the Ace of Cups, right? What is the Ace of Cups? The Ace of Cups is a brand new opportunity, either in love or creativity, right? So here's what we're being told. It's like, okay, so the reason you're not having healthy relationships, or what do you need to keep in mind with healthy relationships, right? You're resisting transformation every time this new love opportunity comes around, right? So you're resisting transformation, and it's the transformation that leads to the success, right, of the union. So that's how I'm reading it. Yeah. Right? So that's what we need to keep in mind for a healthy relationship. When you resist transformation, every time you get into a new relationship, you jam yourself up. All right. Right? Compromise. That sounds like common sense. But we know people are more complicated than that. It's not that easy or not that simple, even though we would like it to be. And then, as I said before, we know people are hard-headed. So there's that. Okay? So I think I'm going to wrap up here in a bit because it's getting super sunny. Actually, let me just do this. Oh, to be in the sun. All right? So, I would like to, before I sign off, read a couple of poems, because it's just, it's a balm, really. Poetry, lyricism, it's good for the soul. Oops. And my battery is about to die, so this is good, in terms of finding a good place to bow out. Poetry. I've been doing this season, just reading the poem of the day. As much as I would like to think that I have a progressive, helpful mentality about the crises of our world, I just realize it's not enough. It isn't enough. And I'm not sure what else I can do without putting my life in jeopardy. But I'm a writer and I'm a poet, so I can share words. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sharing opinions, I'm sharing words. I recognize it's not necessarily the most helpful, but like I said, that's what I've got. So let's see what the poem of the day is. Ooh, okay. Based on the title alone, I think I'm going to have thoughts. Okay. This is from, the Poetry Foundation, and these little red mites are now upon me. Thoughts and prayers. Okay. Now, I don't know if I'm going to read more than one poem. We shall see. This first one, because again, I got two things in my hands, I'm going to turn and get you set up here again. All right. A little higher this time, so it's not all in my chesticles. Good. All right. So this poem is called Devotion. I am on the battlefield for my Lord. And it's by Cortney, Lamar, Charleston. This is a longer one. I'm going to go slowly. By way of my mother, the deacon with the slick gray hair and money, clip in his pocket, can claim a percentage of my body like tithe rights. And on this Sunday, as with every other Sunday, he is a slender ebony panel in the fence of faith, one man in the company of men, standing shoulder to shoulder in suits, tapping their toes, clapping their hands, putting muscle to work in making of praise music. We Baptists call this devotion, my working definition of which is faithfulness to the light, to the extent that God is as white as the clouds of heaven, this theory holds. To the extent these particular men are dark, I must consider other possibilities, that God remade himself in my image so that we could be closer, or that devotion means the commitment of black men to stand with one another, form a barricade of soldiers against anything as necessary, the Lord being the force holding them fast in line. It isn't always easy for me to see these explanations as separate. Any film, any photograph of Martin Luther King Jr. leading a march with his position centered in a line of bodies covering the entire width of the frame. If I take a wide view of that scene, I see the Lord at work. If I zoom in on a single person or the breach between the two, I see no trace of the Lord at all. A hint that he can't exist in small spaces. And what's more, consider this. Say Chicago PD pulls a long line of youths into the precinct for photographs, all of them dark, all of them wearing the same colors, and stands them shoulder to shoulder. Zoom in, nothing. Zoom out, the Lord. Why not? There's clearly commitment here, commitment there, devotion. They're all definitely soldiers on the battlefield for something. Maybe it's white, maybe it's green, maybe it's a colorless feeling. I've got no good answers, only darkness. I'm still trying to decipher if it means anything that Dr. King lived in Vice Lord's territory when he spent 66 in Chicago, that the words Vice and Lord are affiliates, homeboys, next door neighbors. I think about their coming up together in the minds of a boy living on that side of town, a percentage of his body perhaps claimed as a tax. I can't shake this feeling that when he throws his muscles into praise music, when sound leaves his precious mouth, people scatter. I can't help but believe our songs to one another would be familiar, church family. I am on the battlefield for my Lord. I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. And I promised him that I would serve him till I die, till I die, till I die, till I die. Okay. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Cortney, Lamar, Charleston. I'm going to post a link to this episode. That is a powerful one. Wow. Very nice. All right. One more poem, because that energized me. You see what I mean? Like, there's just kind of this general melancholy that I've been feeling lately. That broke it up. So thank you to that poet. All right. And now we're going to... No. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to the American Academy of Poets. Let's see what poem they have for the day. But listen, that one was so good. If I feel meh about the other poem of the day, I'm not going to read it. I'll just end at that one. Let's not kill the vibe. Let's just not do it. Okay. This is a somewhat shorter one. Okay. And it's translated from Chinese. I'm not sure who the poet is. All right. But it's called... I think the poet is Tufu, my apologies. And it's called The Excursion. The Excursion. A number of young gentlemen of rank, accompanied by singing girls, go out to enjoy the cool of evening. They encounter a shower of rain. 1. How delightful at sunset to loosen the boat. A light wind is slow to raise waves. Deep in the bamboo grove, the guests linger. The lotus flowers are pure and bright in the cool evening air. The young nobles stir the ice water. The beautiful ones wash the lotus roots, whose fibers are like silk threads. A layer of clouds above on our heads is black. A layer of clouds above our heads is black. It will certainly rain, which impels me to write this poem. 2. The rain comes, soaking the mats upon which we are sitting. A hurrying wind strikes the bow of the boat. The rose-red rouge of the ladies from UA, I'm so sorry, that's a mispronunciation, is wet. So let me read that line again. The rose-red rouge of the ladies from UA is wet. The yen beauties are anxious about their kingfisher eyebrows. We throw out a rope and draw in to the sloping bank. Oh, the rhythm of that is throwing me off a little bit here. We throw out a rope and draw in to the sloping bank. We tie the boat to the willow trees. We roll up the curtains and watch the floating wave flowers. Our return is different from our setting out. The wind whistles and blows in great gusts. By the time we reach the shore, it seems as though the 5th month were autumn. This is a very lush one. Okay, I'm glad I read it. Okay. So I am going to go back inside, and my general physician that I used to have when I lived in New York once told me, all you need is 15 minutes a day, right, of sun. And so I've definitely had my 15 minutes. And, we had one person that joined us, so thank you. And thank you to anyone that watches the replay on Instagram or YouTube. So this has been The Composite. I am still Deanne Battle, and this was Season 3, Episode 16. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll be back maybe tomorrow, but if not Monday, then definitely Tuesday. God bless.